Good morning, everyone. Happy Tuesday morning to you, and welcome back to Morning Musings. My name is Don K. Preston. I'm the president of Preterist Research Institute of Ardmore, Oklahoma. Well, we're looking at this motif of the birth pangs of Messiah as it's interrelated with, it's not identical with, but it's interrelated with the idea of the Great Tribulation, about which we will have a lot to say more later. Pardon me. So, Jesus told his disciples, there will be wars, rumors of wars, famines, earthquakes, pestilence. These are the beginning of birth pains. Now, folks, let's not forget, Paul said in Romans chapter 8, writing 2,000 years ago, the whole creation groans in the birth pains until now. Paul was writing in the 50s, and he said the birth pangs were present when he wrote. Now let me remind you again that in the scriptures that we've examined so far, there is an absolute interrelatedness, temporal connection between the birth pangs and the tribulation. Birth pangs are not the tribulation. The tribulation is not the birth pangs. The birth pangs would lead to the tribulation, but they are not the same thing. But you cannot separate them by 2,000 years. That just rips the text apart chronologically. And what I've been sharing with you are the Old Testament prophecies that serve as the background treasure house for understanding this motif. You know, Jesus' reference to birth pangs, Paul's reference in Romans 8 is not the only time this reference is used. In 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, when they shall say, peace, peace, then sudden destruction shall come upon them like travail, or just like the birth pangs of a woman in travail. Paul wasn't just drawing, some loose analogy. He was using this very concept of the birth pangs of Messiah. Now then, another passage that really served in the Jewish ancient rabbinic community as a source of this concept of the birth pangs of Messiah is the book of Micah. The book of Micah was written during the days of Jotham, Ahaz, and Hezekiah, predictive of what was about to take place to Samaria and Jerusalem if they did not repent, if they did not rely on Yahweh. Now, again, time considerations. But the Lord, Lord predicted, Micah chapter 4, the mountain of the Lord's house shall be established in the tops of the hills and exalted above the mountains. When would that be? In the last days. According to Jeremiah that we looked at yesterday, the birth pangs and, oh, by the way, the new covenant, would be in the last days, the time of the salvation of the remnant. Well, here we have in Micah chapter 4, the time of the establishment of the Messianic temple. Now watch this. Micah chapter 4, verse 6. In that day, what day? The time of the Messianic temple. I will assemble the lame, I will gather the outcast, and those whom I have afflicted. I will make the lame a remnant, and the outcast a strong nation. So the Lord will reign over them in Mount Zion. Now, folks, you got to catch this. You just got to catch this. In Matthew chapter 11, the crowds went out to talk to John the Baptizer, say, are you the one that we're looking for, or do we look for another? And he said, no, I'm not the one you're looking for. But he pointed them to Jesus. And what did Jesus say about this question about who he was and about the timing of his appearance? Jesus said, when John sent his ambassage out to Jesus to say, are you the one that we're looking for? Jesus said, well, you need to tell John. The lame are walking. The blind are seeing. The deaf are hearing. Where did Jesus get that? Well, he got it from Jeremiah chapter 35 and Micah chapter 4. Micah chapter 4 and these Old Testament prophecies, Jeremiah, were predicting what would happen in the last days. At the time of the establishment of the Messianic kingdom, the Messianic banquet, the Messianic temple. And here Jesus is saying, you need to understand that time has arrived. Wow, this is powerful. But then notice Micah chapter 4, verse 9. Now, why do you cry aloud? Is there no king in your midst? Have your counselors perished? For pangs have seized you like a woman in labor. Be in pain and labor in bringing forth, O daughter of Zion, like a woman in birth pangs. For now you shall go forth from the city, you shall dwell in the field, and to Babylon you shall go. There you shall be delivered. There the Lord will redeem you from the hand of your enemies. Now you need to understand something. Jerusalem didn't go to Babylon in the time of Hezekiah. The Assyrian invaded the land of Israel in the time of Hezekiah, but that was way before the destruction of Babylon, the destruction of Jerusalem by Babylon. And Babylon was delivered from the Assyrian in the time of Hezekiah. Just read Isaiah chapter 30 through 37. That's undeniably chronologically true. So this prophecy is, while it's certainly predicting immediate problems for Jerusalem, it's looking beyond Hezekiah's day. But now, notice how her national judgment, okay, a time of war, is being referred to as the time of birth pangs. A woman being in labor. Now then, Micah chapter 5. You, Bethlehem of Ephrathah, though you are little among the thousands of Judah, yet out of you shall come forth to me the one to be ruler in Israel, whose goings forth are from old, from everlasting. Therefore he, Yahweh, shall give them up. Israel. He shall give them up until the time that she who is in labor has given birth. Then the remnant of his brethren shall return to the Lord. Do you see that? At the time of the birth of the Messiah in Bethlehem, that would be the time of the birth. She who is in labor will bring forth. That's powerful stuff. It tells us that the birth pangs, okay, would produce the birth not only of Messiah, but of the kingdom. And as we shall see in Hosea, where we're going, those birth pangs would give birth to the resurrection. But for now, you just got to see that here in Micah, this imagery, this motif, this theme of the birth pangs is one about national judgment and deliverance of salvation. But that would be in the last days. The birth of Messiah, the birth of the kingdom, the birth of resurrection. Hey, look, again, I discuss Micah and the birth pangs of Messiah in my book, We Shall Meet Him in the Air, the Wedding of the King of Kings. Regularly $23.95 plus $4.95 shipping. For the month of April, go to my website. At the top, you'll find a banner. For the month of April of 2019, $19.95 total price delivered to you. I'm sorry I can't do that for overseas orders, but contact me. Perhaps we can arrange PDF, Kindle, something like that for you at greatly reduced prices. Okay? I hope you see the power of the birth pangs of Messiah and the first century application that the biblical writers make. And of course, we got more. So we'll see you on the flip side.